G, how you doing, my brother?
How you doing, Mr. Orange? How
Hey,
are you?
I'm doing very well, man. Welcome to the O Street Mansion.
That's what's up. It's a beautiful place.
Man, and you guys are making it even better. I mean, the sound, the backyard band, they're doing their thing.
Yeah, man. This is what we love to do. It's our city, our music, our culture, and our sound. So we wake up every day just trying to create, and just keep it moving. People love it. Been loving it for years. So it's just a breath of fresh air when we can see how people rejoice and party to our music.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't know this, but I used to play the trumpet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I started playing trumpet in elementary school.
Okay.
Made it to the first chair, and then I played in the orchestra at Hamilton Junior High School. But my brother-in-law also had a band, and I was the youngest kid in his band. We used to travel all around California, so I'm blowing my horn.
Yeah.
So those are very good
I played
memories.
horn, too. I played French horn.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
nice
and
sound.
I played mellophone, too, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you started at a young age?
Yeah, I started actually in Lincoln Junior High School, which is male Bell Multicultural and Lincoln Junior High combined. And I went on to Cardozo and played mellophone in the marching band.
Oh, great. So how did Backyard come about?
Well, Backyard came about, little kid, uptown Washington, D.C. First, we was a band called Mighty Young Ones, 640 Morton, behind the Black Hole. And then we eventually branched off and moved, different people moved, and we created the band with Walker Lattimore, and then we went to 14th Street, 3500, and got the members, and we kept moving from there. And it just been a neighborhood thing at first, and then we kind of branched out because everybody was moving around, different shows playing in Maryland, Virginia, colleges, and we just kept going.
Yeah, well, it always starts when we're young. I have seven sisters and two brothers, and so my sisters thought they were going to be the Supremes.
Okay,
and
yeah.
They used to practice, and I used to do my James Brown thing. Break out in a cold sweat. And
I'm saying, but music helps everybody. Even on the darkest days, music brings you out of your biggest slump, your depression. You know what I mean? You could be going through something, you get right into music. That's what it always does for me. It helps me out.
Yeah, and I've always had the opportunity to listen to the music because I know when James Brown told us that we were black and proud.
Yeah.
And then I heard the song, you got to get it, y'all. What do you say? Hey, gotta get education. Might as well be that. So I went after the education.
Yeah, that was big. So where did you go to college?
Well, I'm what's called an ABC student, a Better Chance student.
Okay.
So when I was 14, I was president of my student body at Hamilton Junior High School, and some teachers introduced me to a program called a Better Chance. Okay. And they said if you would become a Better Chance student and you become successful, you would help the black race. So I'm originally from Oakland, California.
Oh, okay.
So we in Oaktown. I'm 14, and I've always been a pioneering spirit.
Right.
So I went through the program, and next thing I know, man, I was on a plane, landed in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and they took me to 4,000 acres of land, and that was gonna be my home for the next 3 years. I went to a private boarding school, but it was great because I was introduced to the Goldwyn family. Samuel Golden Jr. from Hollywood was the president of the Board of Trustees. And I actually went to school with John and Tony Goldwyn, and Tony Goldwyn's the big movie star now. Right. And but I used to beat him every day in ping pong. We used to call him Goldilocks.
Couldn't never play ping pong.
Goldilocks.
I think I was too lanky to play ping pong.
Hey, but you're an actor yourself.
Yeah. I've been doing some stuff.
Slim Charles.
Slim Charles.
Slim Charles.
Yeah, and I did I played Leon on the Deuce on HBO, and I was a favorite chef. I recently finished a movie in Seattle called Taste. Also, I did a movie called Prospect with Pedro Pascal from Narcos and Game of Thrones. Shot that. Also, Transitions, where we shoot right here in D.C. It's I played the lead, Adonis Blackwell, touching a bunch of stuff, but I won't leave my city. You know what I mean? I don't think another city really has too much to offer to me. Well, with me, helping somebody build their city up and not build my own.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So we're working on a bunch of stuff, trying to bring more film and open the doors up here for we can be able to have that center to working and filming and having job opportunities open up in film for people can work. Because a lot of people want to do film in our city, but there's really no outlets for it. So that's why I had to go to Pro Scout in Philly. Then I went to Arizona and then came back. And then went to New York, went to LA for just a bit, like pilot season time, because it's too expensive for me. And LA is a lot of, like a cheeseburger, like $50.
Right.
So, you know, you just got to move around and move your way. But I think I got a big career coming ahead of me. You know what I mean? I got good people. I got awesome management now. I got a pretty solid agent. She get on my nerves sometimes, but we bump heads here and there. But certain roles you can't just take. You know what I mean? I could have took bunch of roles, but there's certain roles I ain't taking.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, we just trying to build, but I'm not that A-list yet, but my city still push me and they love me, so, you know.
Absolutely. Love you big time. in fact, you know, the pandemic has kind of slowed everything down. It's hit us extremely hard. And I know the music industry is suffering quite a bit. You know, people aren't able to do their shows. And so what do you think, you know, we as a community, we as a government, what can we do to kind of help jumpstart get things back to normal?
Honestly, that's an awesome question, because, like, we've been trying through the COVID time, and, like, we've been reaching out, like, with Miss Gates over there at the film department. She's been helping out a great deal, like, with giving us platforms to do Zooms and things of that nature, put out messages on COVID, keeping the community safe, nonviolent situations where we put out different messages on our social media, letting people know that I always tell them, just get the kids hugs. A lot of them not getting hugs in their household, period, but a lot walking out in their neighborhood and they just seeing what they see on TV and the violence and keeps trickling. But it's been hard, not just for Backyard, but all of the go-go bands. And it's really no work right now. And then we get these Zoom shows, and it's like we just think the people are there in front of it, but when they watch it, they really enjoy it and love it. And it's just a breath of fresh air that it's something that's kind of going on, but not what we really want. But we're grateful to get the pieces that we get in the spots. But hopefully it'll be back soon, but it's been a very, very rough time.
And I would also think when schools actually open back up, we want to get that music curriculum going and get people involved at young ages.
Oh, that's another question. I don't mean to cut you off, Mr. Orange, but it's like when they take the music out of the schools, it hurts. You know, a lot of people say, gee, man, you got to help talk to the people. And that'll be a big push to really keep the music in the schools. And then also with our music, go-go, we are the official music of Washington, D.C. I think every kid in D.C. public schools, private schools, should know the culture of music go-go and what we bring to the table, the musician side. Like, we have musicians, like all my band members that have been around the world performing with big artists. You know what I mean? And it's like they know music, they read music, they play music. Music soothes your soul. And it's just beautiful when we have a city like this with all these different people. Then with all these different people with the regentrification, with our city changing up so much. A lot of them be like, oh, they changed it, but you should want your city to change for the better. But you have to be involved in your city, your community, and like your people, your council members, just hold them accountable of what you want done in your community. I say don't cry about it, get out and vote, and just hold them accountable. It's like you don't have to be harsh and talk a bunch of trash. Just, hey, what can you do to help me? What can I do to help you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I started out young, thought I was going to be a drummer, then moved to the trumpet. And even my kids, you know, Vincent Jr., he had a band called the Unpredictable Band.
Yeah, okay.
And then my son, Paul, known to everyone as DJ Blackhouse.
Right.
You know, he used to have Bounce Beat Radio, and I think he and Jason used to run around and do a whole lot of stuff together.
Back in the hot shop days, back in the day,
Back in the day. I got him a basketball court, put that in the alley, and they used to always, you know, be out there playing basketball and
playing the music. Let me ask you this too: how did, like, with your son playing the go-go and you was from Oakland, how did that, like, fit in your household?
Oh, it fit extremely well. I mean, when I came to DC in 1980, and once I heard the beat, I was hooked.
That was it.
I mean, you know,
it's good. Though, right?
In fact, I used to run around a little bit with Chuck Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I learned from Chuck. Yeah.
So and then I don't know if you know Brian Lanier. And Cookie. I'm always got people playing for me now.
Right. Yeah.
I've had the Temptations play for me. I've had Harold Melvin's Blue Notes after Teddy passed.
Oh, man. You got that.
Yeah. We used to kick it large.
Them were the good days back then. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But there was something you mentioned I really wanted to touch on, and that's the violence and our returning citizens.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the violence, we really got to figure out how to stop the violence in the communities. I mean, we got to get our young people to know that they're our future. And I was reading something today. Once again, Nelson Mandela said to change anything, you got to do it through education. And one thing that I'm really upset about, and I've really taken it on as a task for me, is to ensure that our DC public schools, be it public or charter, can ensure that our children can read independently upon entering the 4th grade, and that they can add, subtract, multiply, and divide upon entering the 4th grade. Because the United States Department of Education has indicated that if you can't do that, more likely than not, you will make contact with the criminal justice system. And the reason is because the curriculum changes. When you're going from elementary school, you get to middle school, now the teacher's asking you to regurgitate what you read. And I can't introduce you to decimals, fractions, and geometry if you can't add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And so I believe it's time that we really put a lot of pressure on the school system. It's like if we're paying the chancellor $300,000, my man, you're going to have a 90% rate for me. And 90% of our children need to be graduating from high school, and we also should be providing free tuition for our DC resident high school graduates to go to the University of District of Columbia. It's all about the education.
Number one, education first, and you hit a lot of great points. I want to first touch on the violence, though.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys saw that rant I did a few months ago. I was getting a lot of calls in my inbox from young black sisters in the city losing their sons and their brothers. One girl lost her son, her brother, and her cousin within a span of 2 months. They had no money to bury these kids. They doing the GoFundMes, no life insurance, nothing. And they just kept calling me, and I kind of did a rant, but I broke down, and I was crying on Instagram because it hurt me so much. Now you have, in the last 2 weeks, you have 3 females murdered in Southeast. Firsthand, a buddy of mine, that was his daughter, her sister was murdered, so it's a female had to bury both of her daughters within 2 years. So you really basically, it's not cool to say, okay, well, it's a sister burned both of her sons, but both of her daughters in less than that time. It's just sickening. And I feel that the old ladies in the neighborhood can't plant their flowers. They don't feel safer going to the store, just sitting on the front getting a late evening breeze like they used to, watch the sunset. Right. It's just sad that we're having this going on in our neighborhoods, and they're shooting randomly and just hurting innocent kids, getting killed. The rate of these kids are being murdered, and we have to do something. That's why I always say hug these kids, talk to them in the community. Don't just have them out there doing nothing, talk to them. Give them an opportunity. A lot of them just out there, the recreation centers are being closed, the number 10 Boys and Girls Clubs, number 4, number 6. We used to play football, and there's none of that no more. You got a lot of just different independent football leagues putting themselves together. It used to be, we can go to the Boys and Girls Club after school, we get a snack, we do our homework, we do football practice, then we go home. The day is over. You shower, you eat dinner, you get up and go to school. Now it's so much leisure time, they just outside. And it's really nobody saying, hey, what y'all doing? Let's do something. Like E-Boy, Coach Lanier, Coach Owens, Lancaster, with baseball down on Harrison we had on 14th Street, 14th W. All of those things are gone. Midtown Boxing, Latin Connection, House of Champs. All of those spots are gone where we could go box, go talk, go jump rope, go play basketball, learn the speed run, swim at Banneker. They had all these programs after school kid programs, HAP, TAS. We had all that. Sacred Heart. We were doing things. It was older people saying, what do y'all want to do? Can you do this? What do you want to do? What do you want to do to be active after school? It's just so much that we can be doing in the community as far as just okay, we making a lot of coffee shops now.
Right. Right.
I'm cool with the regentrification, but hook it up for the kids first.
Right. Okay, so, this has been a great conversation, but I want to kind of move into the last one is, we really need folks that have had experience in life to come back and also talk to our children as well and help them develop and move forward and let them know they can have a better quality of life. Don't do what I did. I may have messed up.
Exactly.
But we do have returning citizens coming back. We have 4,500 D.C. incarcerated residents in the federal institutions. There's about 122 institutions throughout the United States.
Yeah.
And it's very tough on the families as well as the inmates, because I was reading a story the other day where a brother from Washington, D.C. caught a 10-year beef,
right.
and they sent him way out west, and he hasn't seen his family. And if you have a one year at home, you come back 10, 12 years later, and the young kid is now 10 or 12, don't know who you are,
at all.
And you haven't had an opportunity to grow with your family, to grow with your children, have impact on your children. So we are fighting extremely hard to make sure that our incarcerated residents are with at least a 250 miles radius.
Yeah.
And that will work well.
Right.
And also, I was watching a piece on you where you were talking about we need to transfer back that United States Parole Board to the D.C. Parole Board.
Yeah.
Can you give me your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because like if you go up to see the parole board and you're in a federal penitentiary, they know nothing about you. You know what I mean? Everything that you told them about in your sheet that you didn't send to the parole board and whatever counselor you talk to, and you're trying to tell them something about your life in Washington, D.C., they're not worried about that. You know what I mean? Whatever person in their city, they get them on because they know a sheet on them. You know what I mean? They only know what happened, your sheet of what you did throughout the federal penitentiary. No job, resume, situation, information, nothing. You was a loving family man. You just caught a bad break. You know what I mean? You can't be judged by one federal charge that you have, not unless you were some type of pedophile or something like that,
right.
which we don't deal with.
Right.
But sometimes people take bad breaks. Sometimes people get caught with certain people and just don't want to say nothing about the next person. So I think we should be able to bring that back. We right here, we make the law here. A lot of, there's a lot of politician-driven based place, Washington, right. D.C. So I speak to a lot of federal inmates all the time, females, you know what I mean, uncles, cousins, aunts, and it's tough. And I always tell them, they be like, can you send me a little money? I say, man, we're a little dry right now. Right. But they want me to send that 25, that right. 50 still, you know, but it's hard. I think we should really push towards that, and then return a citizen, getting them some type of assistance for medical, job opportunities, things of that nature, because a lot of them come back out and crash. Right.
Well, talking about job opportunities, I've had the opportunity to serve 2 terms as a Ward 5 council member. I served 2 terms as an at-large council member, right. and I was the D.C. Democratic National Committee man under Obama. But when I was on the council, I introduced this bill, and it's called Incarceration to Incorporation.
Okay.
And the bill, the essence of the bill was that a returning citizen would be provided an attorney and a CPA, and they would write up a business plan, and we would look and see what the government is providing procurement opportunities and set aside some of those contracts so our returning citizens can be gainfully employed. Because a lot of times it's hard to come back and try to become somebody's employee. But as a business person, you can do that. And then we also wanted them to go to University of District of Columbia to get this training. And because at the end of the day, we have to learn that the DC dollar must circulate in DC. Now, for me, the only contract I would love to have is the toilet paper contract.
Right, yeah.
Because the only thing I'll do, I'm going to call out and find out who's producing the toilet paper. Only thing I need is a warehouse.
That's it.
Ship the paper here. Yeah. Now get me one of them distribution systems. Okay, you got to go to 149 schools. You got to go to all the government buildings. Right. But everybody needs that toilet paper.
Everybody.
And so those are the type of things that I think that our returning citizens, pens, pencils, and stuff like that, train them. So, I got it passed on the council. It passed unanimously.
It's beautiful.
And then when I left, they didn't fund it. It had a $10 million price tag. And so, we're going to have to make sure that we put pressure, because we are a $16 billion government in good times, and $10 million is spent on our returning citizens to get back into the community, I was able to help our street teams, the clean teams guys.
Right,
You see in the blue uniforms, the yellow uniforms, depending on where you are. When I was on the council, I got them a 30% increase and made sure they were getting the living wage. And I also got the $15 per hour minimum wage passed. But now we need affordable housing for that population. $15 is really not going a long way. But we need to have affordable housing, and we need to make sure that we just have an opportunity to have a better quality of life here in the nation's capital that used to be Chocolate City.
Yeah, because they pushing us out, and we know it from a lot of them. But they closing all of the neighborhoods out. You know what I mean, Berry Farms, Morton Street, 501 Cape, all those places, and the people, the residents with the vouchers, they moving them out.
Moving them out.
You know what I mean? So they don't know the history or nothing, but affordable housing is at the top of the list, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Big G, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Here talking with you, and you know what? We're here in Rosa Parks corner,
right
here at the O Street
corner,
Mansion,
man.
and she sat down so we can stand up. And so we always got to honor our history. You know, she actually stayed here for more than a decade. And H is the owner of the O Street Mansion. She actually bought the Rosa Parks Mansion across the street. So it's a lot of history here. So I just tell folks, check out the O Street Mansion. And I'd be remiss if it's Halloween. I got the Halloween colors going, trying to give you a mask. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
It's all good. Thank you so much.